Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie Podcast. Hopefully having a good week. It's Thursday again. We're back at it. And, we had golf last week. I don't know if I want to talk about it, but we had it. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Titleist. And honestly, the Titleist fitting experience is awesome. If you want to improve your game, a Titleist fitting experience is the fastest way to get better. A certified Titleist fitter can help any player at any point in their journey find the right clubs to unlock another level of play. Custom fittings aren't just for better players. They're for any player who's looking to get better. I mean, look at me. I went and got fit for my T150 iron set. I absolutely love them. And honestly, your Titleist fitter is going to get to know you, going to get to know your game, and what kind of needs you have, what your drive is, where you're looking to get better, and really make the experience a whole lot of fun. And every club you hit there is going to be the exact club you order. Like, there's no guesswork. There's no, worrying about shafts or whatever that you don't have there. They've got it all. Again, I went there. I had a blast. I did my fitting for my T150/T200 combo set. Absolutely love them. I hit them so well. I actually took them out the other day this weekend and hit some iron shots, and they're still really, really good. So if you want to play your best golf, the first step is simple. Go to Titleist.com and find a Titleist fitter or fitting event near you. The Titleist fitting experience is the fastest way to get better. So go ahead, Titleist.com, check out their fitting events, their fitting places. I went to, mine was pretty easy. I went to Carl's Golf Land, which is right near my house. They had a fitting event and did mine there. It was super simple. We had a blast. So go check it out. So yeah, we're back in it. We're back in the swing. We're back into league season. So we're going to get to some stuff. I got some stuff to talk about, that we reviewed or whatever. First part of this, though, we'll do kind of the recap on the league. It was a rough night. It was windy. It was tough, and I struggled. I did not hit the ball well at all. I was kind of all over the place, and it was just one of those things where I just didn't feel comfortable. I think I had like two swings that actually felt good. I was terrible off the tee, which is my own fault. I hit it poorly off the tee. I had hit a really good TaylorMade QI10 rescue or QI10 Tour rescue off 2T, then proceeded to kind of, I wouldn't say chunk my wedge, but I didn't hit it as flush as I wanted to. Left it just on the front fringe of the green, and that was a rough one. And then, on the fourth hole, snap hooked at OB, and then proceeded to play the next one, hit like a great, iron right down the middle, knocked it onto the green. I basically made par on my second ball, but just little things like that. I just really struggled just feeling comfortable swinging it, and it was decently windy, so it was a little rough. I shot 43, didn't win any money. I had to pay Roger. I mean, that's like the running joke. So if you don't know, if you've never listened, I play this guy Roger in my league for $5, and every week it's just a standing bet. I got to give him 2 strokes, and we just go and play. And I was in his group, and I unfortunately lost. I shot 43. I think he shot 42. I think he beat me by 1 anyway, so I still had to give him 2. Or maybe he shot 44, but either way it was close. Either way I lost. It wasn't there, but I was just scrambling all over. And I do have to take one thing away from it, though. I was playing with my one brother who's in the league, and he basically said, when I told him, he's like, "What'd you shoot?" And I was like, "I shot 43." And he goes, "I don't want you to take this the wrong way." He's like, "It's not a dig or anything," but he's like, "It looked way worse." He's like, "The amount of scrambling you did and hitting greens from where you were off the tee and all that," he's like, "You actually made it." He's like, "That score's a lot better than how it looked." And I was like, "Okay, I'll take that," because I did. I hit some good, decent shots. Those pink blueprint S's are really, really good. So I had those out there, and those went well. QI10 Tour went really well. I only hit one drive. I hit it okay. I didn't hit a great one. It kind of toe hooked it into the left rough, and just didn't do anything really that amazing. Putter wise, I just didn't make a ton of putts. I didn't really make any putts. I didn't putt terribly. I don't think I 3-putted. I think I kind of nestled everything up close. But it was just it was overall one of those struggles. I think today, I'm recording this on Wednesday night. Today is going to be even, I think, a more struggle. It's going to be colder. I think by the time we're done playing, I think it's going to be like 40 some degrees. It's going to be cold. Out there, it usually is windy, so it's kind of rough there. But but overall, like I said, I just wasn't pleased with my play. I think I hit the irons decent, from the fairway. Off the tee, though, I just struggle with every club. Other than one, I hit some good shots with one club, and we'll talk about it here in a minute. But it was overall a rough go. So I'm excited to get back at it this week. see what we can do. Hopefully get down to 40 or 39, but it could be a little bit of a struggle. We're playing the back nine, which I think is a little bit of the easier of the nines. The only hole that kind of gives me fits is a little bit of 11. The tee shot on 11 is it's a big fairway, but you have to hit it. If you miss it. If you miss it left, you're in the trees, and you might get lucky and have a shot out at the green, depending on how far. If you get it down far enough, you'll probably have a shot at the green. If you hit it right, if you hit it basically right side of the fairway, you're toast. Because you basically won't have a shot at the green unless you can kind of play a big fade around the trees. Because the trees that run down the right side of the fairway just block you out because the green is slightly tilted to the right. And so yeah, you'll have that problem to work with, which I seem to always have. Like I'll seem to hit like a dead straight, nice shot right down like the right side, and then it'll hit one of the little mounds down there, push it a little further right, and I'll be blocked out. Or if you really hit it right, if you can basically take it over the cart path, like really slice it, the trees haven't quite grown and big enough to really cause too much of a problem yet. We're a few years away from that, but if you can play it down there, you've actually got a better shot into the green. So it's just that whole thing kind of takes it out on me, and then. 13 is the par 5, which is super short, but it's just this big dogleg left. And same thing, I just get it in my mind because if you hit it too far right, or right, and you can hit it, 250 or 260, you're going to hit it in the water. So you've got to play it left of that. But then if you hit it too far left, you're blocked out again by some trees. There's a bunch of condos on the left. You snap hook it too hard. So there's 2 holes there. Other than that, the rest of the back nine I think is easier. So I usually, most of my scores, if you look at my better scores, usually I think the back nine's my better scoring average. But we'll see. So it'll be good. What's in the bag this week? Haven't really decided yet. I may do just like a quick YouTube or Instagram video of what's going in the bag for tomorrow. I haven't agonized over it yet. But I have a bag kind of already set up with some stuff that I went and hit balls with on Tuesday. I went out and played like 4 holes. I was hitting the new Diamante whiteboard, doing a little like content thing on that, and I have a bag set up right there with it. So I might do that. We'll see. But yeah, the big exciting thing for this week though, today, I've got the brand new MotoCaddy M7 GPS remote. So it's basically the same remote M7 that I had like before, which I may still have. But this one, it's remote controlled, but they put a bigger screen on it with GPS and everything, so you can basically get all the yardages and all that right on the screen. And I was kind of hoping they would do that eventually, and they did. So pretty excited to get that thing out there and mess with it and see how it goes. So pretty excited to do that. But yeah, bag-wise, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then also, if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do, at ClubJunkiePod. But check it out. I'm giving away my last year's Callaway Fairway Plus golf bag. I'm going to give that thing away. It's a great bag. I did use it, but it's in really good shape. Has the Club Junkie logo on it on the ball pocket, and I've shoved something in the ball pocket that exceeds the value of the bag. Let's just put it that way. It exceeds the value of the bag. Great extra little surprise. I'll throw in a few Club Junkie stickers, all that as well. But there's a big surprise in the ball pocket. So go to Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. Enter to win, and you could win this bag. So all the rules, everything are there. Go do that. And I'm going to end it on Monday, so you got through the weekend to sign up and try to win the bag. But we'll give that thing away, and like I said, it's got a nice little surprise in the ball pocket. So I think you'll enjoy it. So anyway, into reviewing some stuff today. We're going to talk a little bit about some shafts. I know I've been talking about shafts, and I have a bunch of shafts to review. So I've got shafts, and then we'll touch on a rangefinder that I just got to mess with this year that I was actually really impressed with, and we'll check that as well. But the first thing we will take a look at is going to be some iron shafts, and it is going to be the LA Golf A-Series iron shafts. And I know the L Series kind of gets, I'm not going to say all the love, but the L Series is definitely kind of where the bigger hitters like to play and all that, but these are the A Series, which I kind of thought were more my game. When I look at the L Series, 120 grams and stiff, that's kind of like getting to the point of like as kind of, kind of as stiff as I want to go with that. So this is the A Series here, which is 105 grams, and they have kind of three different models of A series. The A series has some high launch, some mid launch, and low launch options. At 105 grams, that only comes in the low launch. There is no 105 like high launch. There is no what do you call it? Like mid launch. It only comes in low. 105 grams comes in stiff or extra stiff. They are full like 3-iron blanks, whatever they are, 2 or 3 iron blanks, and 370 tip, but you can sand them down to taper, and they just come in matte black. So stiff or X are your two options, and this I thought felt more like my game, only because recently I've been playing a little bit lighter shafts, between my Axiom 105s, the Steel Fiber 110s. Even a lot of the steel shafts that I've been playing have been more on the lighter side of that 110 gram weight. So decided to go here with these. I do have a 7-iron LA Golf L series over there that I just glued up in a head. It just needs a grip on it, so I'll be hitting that as well to talk about, but I just didn't have it done quite in time. But these, I basically put the whole set in my PXG 0317T heads. So, which I think they're called maybe like the full cavity or filled cavity or something like that. One of the two. They're basically they're basically a smaller, compact head. They are hollow body, foam filled. But these ones here, I had them built up. The nice folks at PXG were able to send me some new weights. So as you can see, silver weights and silver heads. I think they actually look pretty good. And then these LA Golf shafts, much like a lot of LA Golf shafts, are this heavy matte black. It's almost like, feels like a truck bed liner. It's got that, you can really feel the texture to it. But just the LA Golf logo on the underside. So, the words LA Golf, got the little red logo up in the upper right near the grip. And then in very, very faint letters, which I can almost guarantee you will not be able to see on YouTube if you watch, but it actually does say, A Series 105, and it marks it as a 4 for stiff. But, really, good set of shafts. They come in at just under 100 grams, 2.5 degrees of torque. CPM for these are basically 293. They come in 40-inch blanks, and 370 tips, but you can sand them down a little bit, and a 5-inch parallel tip section. So I did have to reach out to LA Golf to get the tipping instructions for them, because I wasn't 100% sure where they started tipping, because everybody's a little bit different. But these ones, they just sent me the tipping instructions, and knocked that out and put these in. The nice thing is that I was originally going to put these shafts in a set of Cobra heads, some King Tours, but unfortunately those heads were crazy light. They were wildly light, like 10 grams light each, like built for over length builds, like light heads. So they didn't work with these, but thankfully I had these PXGs that needed a new set of shafts, so I tossed these in. And the nice thing is I didn't have to sand these down to taper tip, because PXG ones basically use a hosel that's 370, and they have their own little ferrule and tip system to knock them down to taper, or knock them down if they're taper tips there. So basically just use the correct ferrules and built these bad boys up at 370, and worked out perfect. So a little bit less work for me, because hand sanding these down to 355 is not a hard thing or anything, but it is tedious, and I didn't have to do it. So a really good combo. I love I like the look of these things, just matte black. When you set them down, a smaller, compact head that has got some forgiveness, a little bit of speed to it. Really, really good combo. When I ordered them, and asked LA Golf for them, and it was only the low option, I was a little nervous. As you guys know, I'm not a super high ball hitter. So build these things up. I did need slightly heavier weights, nothing too crazy. I want to say every weight in here was around 9.5 to 10.5 grams on the back of these, and I had to go up to 12.5s. So there were like a couple swing weight points light. These are all built to D1, and it was pretty easy. I mean, thankfully PXG, it's got the weights there. You could use like a graphite tip weight, but these here, just easy to put those regular weights in. And then my usual King Grasp Tour Velvet knockoffs that I use, that I get off Amazon for dirt cheap. So not a bad setup. And took them out, and the first thing you kind of do, I think like all golfers, you kind of give them a little bit of that waggle test. And these ones here definitely have just a touch more kind of play to them. When you gotta give them that waggle test, you'll see a little bit more movement, I feel like, compared to steel fiber 110s or some of the steel stuff. The Axioms for sure, feel stiffer than this. The USD Dart Vs definitely feel stiffer than this. So they definitely had a little more kind of play to them, or they seemed a little softer just from the waggle test. But when you actually get them out on the course, they played really, really well. I was really impressed with them. These things here, for being a low launch shaft, they definitely didn't play like that. For me, I would say these things played more like a true mid to maybe just slightly above that, but I think it was more of a mid launch. Even with the long irons, like the 5-iron, 6-iron, and then the 4-iron, I put in the Ping I crossover. So I actually pulled out the Tour 2.0 that was in there and put in an LA Golf A series in here. I played it a little over length on this one just for off the tee and stuff, but yeah, even hitting 5-iron off the deck, 6-iron off the deck, whether it's off the tee, whatever. Definitely a little bit higher launching than I thought they would be, but still seem to be pretty low spin and offer a pretty boring flat trajectory. I mean, they got up quick, but they kind of flattened out a little bit kind of how I would say like original Project X kind of plays. Like initially high launch, they kind of flatten out a touch and then drop down into the green. That's kind of how these things played for me. I mean, I was really impressed with how easy it was to elevate these off the deck. I played about 27 holes with them so far, and I mean the first time that I noticed it was I was at St. Clair Shores, a buddy of mine, and I just played, and we played 8, which was par 5, and I can't remember where I hit it, but I was just gonna lay up. I didn't have a great shot at the green, and I just grabbed 5-iron. I think I was 2 something away, and just hit a 5-iron that just had actually a tiny bit of a cut to it. Launched up in the air and went a good long ways, and it was one of those that it was just effortless to hit. And since then, playing them a little bit more, the long irons, like I said, 5, 6, 7 even, really easy to get up in the air, really easy to elevate, and they just and they're not like screaming up in the air and just falling out of the sky. They get up there, they're kind of flat, boring, and then they just, kind of gently come down. And, so far I've really liked the trajectory of them. Now, some players, when you get down to the low irons, I think, they do launch a little higher. You could either build them by maybe tipping just a touch more in those short irons and, kind of maybe knocking that trajectory down just a touch, making those play just a little bit stiffer. Or, like myself, they're fine, and, you're just not going to flight down your 9 and pitching wedge as easily as you would, the 5, 6, 7, or even 8-iron. But the 9 pitch do launch a little bit high, just higher than you're used to. They just don't come out, as flat or as low as I know the new trend is to kind of hit things a little bit more piercing with the shorter irons, but still contain a lot of spin. They get up in the air and they get up pretty quick. But for players who need that, like myself, it's great, and they're easy to launch. Working the ball is fine. Like I said, 5-iron, I can hit a little cut, which I haven't been able to hit cuts all year. Most of the stuff I've been hitting is definitely draws, but these things are pretty straight. I think for the really strong player, you'll be able to turn these over and maybe hit them a little left. For guys like me who are kind of the average swing speed, like for me, for the 7-iron, I'm usually around like 84, 85 miles an hour. I'm nothing too crazy. I'm nothing that fast. They're a good match for that. I think that the in terms of the speed to them and squaring them up, really easy to do. I don't think they're overall like anti-left, but I also don't think that there's something where they're so stout where it's hard to square them up. I know you look at like Axiom sometimes, and guys hit them a little bit right when they first get them. Because you do have to release them and make sure that you turn it over in order to hit it straight. These, I think, it's really easy. It's your normal swing. They've got a little bit more kick compared to those at impact, and they do square up a little easier. Like I said, really strong players might overpower them a touch, which is, again, why they make the L series as well. At 120 grams is just a little bit stiffer, stouter shaft. This one here is just a little bit more playable, a little softer, and you can square them up pretty easily, hit them pretty straight, but also if you do want to kind of like work the ball and you put in a more, kind of bladish looking iron, kind of like these are, you definitely can work the ball a little bit, either way. And, it was easy to do. I was still able to hit it left. I could still, hit my big snap hook when I put a poor swing on it. But when you were swinging it decent, these things offer just a kind of a straight ball flight, just a gentle draw, gentle fade. It was really nothing movement wise that was too exaggerated with these. They were really quite straight for most of the shots. I mean, out of everything I've hit this year, which again, this is very few rounds, I've probably hit this combo probably the most solid out of everything so far. I mean, I just everything was kind of straight, high, land soft, and it was just it's been nice kind of playing this setup. With that, hitting them into greens, really easy. Like I said, even with 5-iron, to get that ball up in the air, things land soft. The short irons check up pretty darn hard. When you hit the green, they do not release much. When you get to kind of that, 8 depends on the shot, but for me at least, 9, 10, 9 in pitch. Fired in there, it's going to hit, it's going to stop immediately. If you hit the right part of the slope, it'll spin back a little bit, and depending on the ball and the lie and all that, you'll see maybe it's a little bit of a kind of that ball checking back on you. But everything else is kind of drop and pretty much kind of stop. 6-iron, I'll see just, a touch release, same with 5, but for the kind of added launch that these had compared to what I thought, they do have good stopping power on the green. Distance control is really solid because you don't have to worry about that run out. It's just going to hit the green, and for the most part, stop or release just a small amount, depending on the shot. Now, again, if you're hitting it, on a wet rough and you catch it, kind of out on the toe, whatever, that ball's going to release. But solid shots, especially from the fairway, check up really well, and I think it's a combination of spin and height, but they do have a decent amount of stopping power when you get to the green. And the short irons, like I said, the 9 in pitch, I can hit and have that ball kind of check up just a little bit. If you're playing a decently spinning ball off a fairway lie, it's pretty easy to do. But these here, I just kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, stopping power is really good, and then feel is actually really good. They're really lively kind of through the swing, but not in a way that you feel that they're loose. I know there's some shafts that just kind of feel loose, and you always have that, you have a swing that kind of feels good and the ball just goes somewhere it shouldn't, and it just kind of has that, the shaft isn't tight. These things here feel really tight. They're very consistent. That distance control I was talking about, if you hit they're able to put this, the same swing on it over and over again, you're going to get met with the same result, and it's pretty impressive how even for just a 100-gram shaft, these things play really solid, and they do go really well, and they're really consistent. They just when you hit a 7-iron and you expect it to go 160 and you hit it really well, it's going to go 160. And like I said, that 5-iron that I hit, the first shot I hit off the deck with that 5-iron that I hit high and whatever, for me, a 5-iron's like a 180 club. I walked it off, and that one there was just like 183 or something like that. I mean, it was really exactly what you thought. And every shot that basically I've hit with these, whether it's been a pitching wedge, an 9-iron, or into the higher irons, has just been really consistent and really predictable. I know some people, they go to graphite, they get worried kind of about shots that just kind of out of control and just go really far. They're really hot. They add a ton of distance. These don't seem to do that at all. I mean, I know some people with the hollow body heads kind of worry about the hot spots and stuff like that, and big flyers. I haven't noticed any of those. The flyers have been somewhat limited. There's been one or two that have caught maybe the back of the green that I kind of didn't expect. But the rough here also hasn't been that crazy because it's just starting to grow out. Our rough is here right now pretty short and pretty kind of matted down, and we're just now getting into the warmer weather where that grass is starting to perk up and get a little more lush. So most of the rough lies that we've had here have actually been pretty subtle, and you're not getting a ton of flyer type lies or anything like that. But yeah, again, the feel on these is really good. They load really easily as you take them back. As you transition from the back to the downswing, they really are. You can feel them load. When your hands start to decelerate at the bottom, you really kind of feel a good kick and impact. It's kind of like playing a little bit of kind of like I would kind of compare it to like a little bit kind of a KBS tour. Would be my kind of like comparison to in terms of the steel equivalent. Got a good feel. It's kind of lively, but it's still tight, and you kind of feel like this thing's going to generate more energy for you and keep that ball going. But yeah, the feel and they're smooth. I mean, you can kind of mishit it, and up here it's been cold. We haven't had I haven't been playing in 80-degree days or anything like that. So when you play in that cold weather, your hands tend to be a little bit more sensitive to the mishits. A little bit of that vibration tends to get to your hands a little easier, and that's the one thing I really love about graphite is that when you do miss it, you hit a little thin, a groove or two low, your hands aren't just ringing. It takes away some of that vibration, and these definitely do that. So whether you're playing in cold weather and you have that miss hit and it takes some of that sting away, or you're somebody who's got some some wrist, elbow, shoulder, back, whatever kind of issues, graphite always reduces some of that vibration, and these really do offer a good feel. I think they're extremely responsive. They're not dead in any way. If you miss it, you know exactly where. When you flush it, it feels great and feels really solid. It's just they did a really good job with these in terms of the feel, and like I said, they load really easily. I mean, I think for super high swing players, I think you'll move to the L series for something that you won't overpower. But these, I think, if you're kind of the slightly above average and down, the A series will be really, really good for your swing in terms of matching it up with the right weight and flex. And I think when you do match that up, it'll feel really good, and you'll have that soft, responsive feel that you expect from graphite. But this one here, when you hit it center, one, it's a PXG head, so it's soft. I mean, it's foam filled, and you're going to get that soft feel. But this thing really does kind of, it doesn't bring any excess harsh vibration or anything like that to your hands. When you hit it flush, it just goes, and it feels probably a little even bit better than it did with the steel shafts that were in here before. I don't remember what was in here. Oh, there were some True Temper Elevates, I believe, were in here before. But anyway, but they're a little bit more kind of stout than that. They feel a little tighter than that, these LA Golf A Series, than that was in there. But they're not, crazy stiff, crazy stout, anything like that. So overall, I think they did a really nice job. I like the feel of them. The 5-through pitch has been really good. I've been kind of swapping these out with other iron sets, but I've played probably 27 holes. I think I've played, 2 9s and an 18 with these things, and I've really liked them. They definitely moved up the board in terms of irons that, in the rotation, whereas I thought, the Blueprint S's are really good. I think these are kind of my second place irons right now. If you put these against the T100s, these are, if they're not in there already, because I haven't played as many rounds of these yet, they're very close to the T100s in terms of, what's a starting spot. They're really consistent. They're just consistent, good. It's just a good combo. You've got a shaft that offers really, good stability and control. You've got a head that's a little bit forgiving, has a great look, and has a little bit of speed. And also, too, on miss hits, these things seem to be pretty stable. I mean, when you miss it, this isn't the most forgiving head in the world. It's not super big. When you do miss it, you hit it off the toe, you hit it off the heel a little bit, a little low in the face. The ball doesn't go crazy right, left, doesn't go crazy low. I think the shaft adds some of that stability working with the head, and it does offer you some forgiveness. And some of the bad shots or bad swings that have come off some pretty outside spaces of the iron have turned out to be pretty good balls, so or at least playable, in play and up near the green and things like that. So I think this shaft, definitely has some stability to it, that the head never feels like it wants to kind of twist open or kind of rapidly shut when you miss it. It does feel pretty stable there on those shots. So the 5-through pitch have been great. I really liked them. I think they've done a great job with those. And then, as I said, I put the 105 in the eye crossover head, and I've hit this a bunch because I play this eye crossover with just about any set. So I do have this thing set, I think, just a +1. So it's set up, I think, instead of being 22 degrees, I think it's 23. And playing this thing just a hair long. I'm playing this thing at 39 inches with the half-inch tipping that they recommended for the 4-iron. So standard tipping, but playing it at 39 inches. So off the tee, I can maybe get a little bit more out of it. And then if I need true just kind of 4-iron distance, maybe off the deck, whatever, that choke down that basically half-inch and play it as a normal kind of 4-iron. And this thing's been really good. I was a little worried when I put it together because I was like, I'm going from 85 to 105 grams. This thing's going to be, is it going to be too heavy? Is it going to be too much to kind of play throughout the set? But I'll tell you what, off the tee, this thing has been really good. I've liked this eye crossover head a lot anyway. I feel like, the miss hits are really solid. They still go a long way. They go high. You can hit this thing off the deck really easily. It's just an overall really good utility iron, a really good 4-iron replacement for me. I know Jake from Made from the Range loves his eye crossover as well. But the 105 actually turned out pretty good. The nice thing is, too, playing it just that little bit long. The swing weight stayed really close. I think it came out to like D3. And overall, the 105 is not bad at all. I was, like I said, kind of worried about it coming from 85. Honestly, the 105 plays really well. I think it's definitely light enough. I think it's kind of that, for me, that perfect weight range where it's 100 grams, and that's light enough for a 4-iron, and but it's still got enough oomph to it to to be there to notice it. And this thing, much like the 5-iron and the longer irons in the set, just really easy to hit. I think it added just a little bit of distance to this thing, which I don't think it necessarily needed. But off the tee, it seems like when I played on Thursday, I had this in the bag, and I want to say I hit a shot on 4 with this. My second ball, because my first one, I came over the top and sniped it left, and there isn't a club shaft grip, anything that would have saved that ball. But the second ball I hit, I still hit it off the toe a little bit, pretty much dead straight, pretty high. Went out there, probably just short of where I thought it would be, but I didn't hit it that great. It was not the greatest of shots, and it still stayed out there in the middle of the fairway. Had a short iron into the green anyway, so it really did show that stability wise, this thing works even in the long irons. It's darn solid, and I think honestly on the miss hits it carries a little bit further than it did with that 285. Launch on here, I would argue to say it might be just a hair lower than that 285. That 285 I would kind of hit pretty high with this thing. This is maybe just a touch lower, and I don't know if maybe it's the added length or what of it, but just a hair lower, just a touch more penetrating, but still easy to hit off the deck. No worries about that. No worry about, I haven't hit it into a green yet, or at least I haven't hit a green. I think I've tried to hit it into one green, but I haven't actually hit the green. So stopping power-wise, I don't know how that'll work, but it does seem to get up there like it did with the previous, 2 or 2.0 Chrome. And, that actually would stop after just a little bit of release on the green. So I would expect this to perform very, very similar. But overall, I think it's just a little bit more consistent. This thing just, swing to swing, I feel like I'm hitting it just as good, and I'm getting a slightly better result out of it, and no matter where it makes contact on the face. So the A-Series, I've liked him in. I like it in utility iron. I like it in the standard irons. Even though they're listed low, at least for me, they're not low launching. I would say, especially for a utility iron, the A-Series would be a great option if you're looking for something that's kind of, mid launching, but again, really consistent, offered in a handful of weights. And it really, because they make an 85, they make the 105, and they make a 65 and a 55, so you can go down pretty light. Now in stiff, you're going to be kind of, 65, 85, and 105, but this thing here, if you're looking for something just a little bit lighter in a utility iron, and don't want to go, too crazy in terms of, hitting it super high or whatever, really good in the eye crossover. I thought they did a nice job. But I really like these A-Series. I think they play really well for my swing, and I think for players kind of with that average club head speed and looking for something kind of mid launching, I think this A-Series is really good. And I think stability, consistency, all that, you're not going to lose anything from from your steel shafts. And if anything, you're going to get maybe a slightly softer feel, less vibration to the hands, and maybe like a slightly less sore shoulder, wrist, elbow, anything like that. But the A-Series, I really impressed them. I think they did really well. If you want to check out more, go to lagolf.com. They've got the A-Series there. You can check out kind of all the options in terms of, weights, flexes, all that. And they basically, they're really solid. So I've got these things in here. I don't think they're going anywhere, and this set has definitely moved up in the rankings in terms of where they sit. So this is probably, they might be number 2 on the list. We'll see where they go at the end of the year. But right now, after like 27 holes, I think they've definitely risen to the occasion. That's for sure. So listen. The show also brought to you by Olakai. And listen, Olakai, one of my favorite sandal brands. They make some of the most comfortable sandals ever. I've owned multiple pairs for many, many years. I basically wear them into the ground where they have no tread left before I usually get a new pair, and that usually takes me a while, and I wear them year round. But they're my favorite sandal brand, but they also make golf shoes. The golf shoes are really amazing. They're easy to wear for 18 holes. You can wear them after. They've got a casual design. You can wear them on the course, off the course, no problem. They're all spikeless, but they've got a totally different sole that offers great traction, whether you're in a fairway bunker, wet grass, rough, fairway, green, tee box, you name it. Great traction in any condition. sporty or classic designs. You kind of get your choice of both. And one of the best features, they've got a fold-down heel that if you just slide your foot in after the round, you run to the car, put all your stuff away, you just can slide your foot into this thing. The heel folds down, you can stand on it, and it's designed that way, so it's not damaging the shoe or anything like that. You can kind of wear it like a casual after-round shoe. Go visit the 19th hole, and have a comfortable shoe to wear. So they're trusted by Grant Horvat and the Bryant brothers. So get yourself a pair today. If you go to olakai.com, and you can add code WRX for free expedited shipping as well. That's pretty cool. So code WRX for free expedited shipping. That's pretty awesome. But Olukai, OLUKAI.com. Go check out the new golf shoes. So I know the show's going to be a little longer, but I'm okay with that. Because the other thing I'm going to jump into is something that I was really impressed with. And I don't really usually get totally impressed with stuff, because especially when it comes to rangefinders. So I've tried so many rangefinders. I have so many rangefinders here, but I do have the brand new ShotScope Pro ZR. So it's their brand new Pro ZR they just came out with. I remember seeing it down at the show, and I was like, wow, this is a pretty nice, well-built unit. And I saw it down there, kind of looked at it. It looked pretty cool. They sent me one to mess around with and to try, and I do have to say, it's really, really good. So I know some rangefinders are crazy expensive. They have some out there that are, they're now pushing back to the, driver costs in terms of that. This one here is not the cheapest one that ShotScope makes. ShotScope does make a really kind of inexpensive called the Pro L2, which I think I've actually used, which is like $129. I've actually used that one. I think and it's really solid. It's a great no frills, rangefinder if that's what you want. The Pro ZR is a little nicer than that. It's got a few more features, and it's definitely got a little better kind of build to it. When you just hold it, you can tell there's a little more weight. The that more inexpensive LR2 is very lightweight. You can kind of feel it. This one here's got a little heft. You can feel kind of nicer materials on this thing. And it fits in your hand just, I think, a little bit better, but that's just me. But the Pro ZR from them is brand new, and it's basically got a ton of features to it. But the one thing that I really love, and I've started to almost become snobby about it, is it's got the red or black optics in it. So if you want to use it and you like the black optics and that works for you, hey, great. If you're like me, and it seems like in Michigan, everything we play seems to have like a tree background. Like everything behind the greens is like trees, or it's dark or green or whatever. And I just feel like the red, it's just a little easier to find the pin and keep this thing on the pin, which is really nice. And I got used to it in a Nikon that I was playing for a while, and now every time I look at a rangefinder, I kind of want to know, does it have red optics? Because I like looking through it, and it does. So this one is it definitely has that, and it's easy, like one button on the top, red, black. You just press it and it switches real quickly between the two. Everything's pretty much kind of right there. They've got like the slope on off button switches on the side here, super easy. So and it says like slope. Now it's in slope mode. If you see the word slope, it's not in slope mode. It's got the big blue button for actually firing the laser and locking on a target. It does do slope, and it tells you actually the adjusted yardage, as well as giving you kind of the degrees up or down that it is. So it'll say up 6 degrees up or 5 degrees down, whatever. But it does give you all that right on the screen. The screen's easy to read. It seems like there's a lot there, but it's really actually pretty well laid out. You've got the big yardage number on the upper right. The adjusted yardage is kind of below it, and then there's the kind of crosshairs there to fire at the pin. The body is actually metal, so it's extremely durable, and it does give it just a little bit more weight to it, like when you feel it, which I kind of like. It makes it feel like a nicer piece, but it's called a DuraShield hard shell, and it's meant to stand up if it does fall off the card or anything like that. It'll stand up to those things. It's got the target lock on, and it's also got the rapid fire as well. So when you're scanning for a flag, you can kind of use the rapid fire to kind of detect it, and then you'll get that vibration as soon as the thing locks on. Gives you the yardages almost instantly, which is really nice. I know I was using a unit recently that it took like a second for the yardage to come up, and it was like weird to kind of wait for it. And it comes up, instantly. You hit it, and boom, it just gives you the yardage. Like I'm down in my basement, and the back wall is 8 yards away. But I mean, it's right away. It's instant. I'm not getting the jolt because there's no flag here. But when I had it on the course, you definitely get the little jolt when you get the flag, so you're not getting a tree or anything like that. It's got an accuracy range of 1,500 yards, which you will never use. You don't use 1,500 yards. But it's just nice to know that, if you're scanning something at 200, it's going to be accurate. There's nothing there. And the nice thing is, like, when you for me, like, testing accuracy on this is like, you go to a par 3, you walk up, you laser it, it comes back 168. And for me, like, I'll laser it again. Does it come back 168? Does it come back something else? And then if you hit it like 3, 4, 5 times, whatever it is, does it keep coming back the same yardage? And this was, I mean, it really was accurate. It kind of came back the same yardage no matter what. Has the magnet on it, so on the side you can stick it to the cart with no problem. The little battery door is right there in the back, so easy to change out a battery when it runs out. But just it fits in your hand nicely, and it comes with, of course, a nice little case that thing goes in. You've got the quick, quick release bungee cord on it. You can zip it up, and then it's also got a little carabiner and a strap, bunch of ways you can attach it to your push cart or anything like that. I've actually been now recently putting it through, especially when I'm using my Moto Caddy, putting it through the straps around the bag and just putting it kind of through the back on there. And it just sits easily right there. Grab it out, laser the yardage, and boom, done. This Pro ZR is really solid. It's $299, so I'm not going to say it's the cheapest thing out there. It's definitely not. It's definitely far cheaper than a lot of other options. And it's just a really good working laser rangefinder. I was really impressed with how well it was. And again, I didn't think I would be that impressed because it's a laser rangefinder, but it is really nice. It feels like it's built really well. It works really well. It's quick. It locks on fast, and I love the fact that you can go between black and red. But just overall, the buttons on top are super easy to use. Magnet on the side. The slope button on there is easy just to turn slope on and off, and it's easy to tell is your slope on and off. You can just flip it back and forth, and it's even got different modes, so you can actually kind of turn off some of the extra stuff on there as well. When you look at the mode, you can turn off the slope and all that. It'll be a real clean just look, and you can turn on the mode with everything on there in terms of the angles and all that. So there's basically a lot of options on here, and like I said, for $299, it's not cheap, but I think you get a lot for the money here. You get a lot of rangefinder for that money. So. Really solid unit. I think ShotScope did a really nice job. I know if you haven't heard of them before, they do a lot of stuff in terms of they make the GPS and stat tracking like watches, and they even make a laser rangefinder that has a little GPS module in there that actually does the shot tracking as well. I mean, it's like they've got tons of options. They do a lot of really cool stuff. So the new Pro ZR is really solid. I was really impressed with it. I like how easy it was to function. It worked really well. It was accurate. It's easy to use, and you've got the dual display, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking for a rangefinder, go to shotscope.com. Check out the Pro ZR. I think they did a really nice job with it. Like I said, I saw it down at the show, the PGA show, and was impressed with it. But they did a really nice job with this thing. So check that thing out if you're looking for one. If you're like everybody else and have left one on a cart before and need a new one, it's definitely worth looking at. They definitely did like I said, I don't think you'll be bummed by it or disappointed with it at all. So shotscoop.com, check that out. And that's all we've got today. So if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe. That'd be great. If you're not watching on YouTube, just search Club Junkie or Golf the Bricks Radio. If you're following on Instagram, I appreciate it. If you're not, please follow me at Club Junkie Pod. Jump in and do my giveaway with my golf bag. Like I said, there's a nice little surprise in the ball pocket you'll get. You're not going to know what it is until you win and you get it. But there's a nice little surprise in there. And that's all I've got. So listen, again, If you want to play your best golf, the first step is simple. Go to Titleist.com and find a Titleist fitter or fitting event near you. Today, go experience a Titleist fitting experience. It's the fastest way to get better. So Titleist.com, check that out. And we'll check out Instagram. I'll give you the what's in the bag for this week. But until then, you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.